You want to know what I find interesting about GTA 6? Right? Everyone says this is going to be the biggest game in commercial gaming history ever, right? That this is going to be the one of the highest grossing video games of all time, and nothing else has lived up to the hype, right? You know, people say all these things about GTA 6, but when I went back and started digging, do you want to know how many trailers we've gotten for this game? When this game has been big, it's been announced for years, right? And all this time, we've only gotten 2 trailers, if you don't include the third one that just came out about a month ago. That was only for the box art. That was all they showed, was the box art. Outside of that, we only had 2 trailers, with the first trailer being back in December of 2023, and then the other one being on May 6th of 2025. And it makes me wonder, right? Why on earth would Rockstar be okay with promoting a game that we haven't seen anything? Until it clicked in my brain, and I figured I'd talk about it today on what's going on. And a lot of it has to stem from us, the consumer. We're the reason why they haven't needed to show us anything. So first off, you know, when you think about marketing wise, at the end of the day, marketing for a video game is not meant to, you know, just like give you information. That's not why they're so gung-ho about you participating in it. Marketing for video games is to get you excited, is to get you hype, and to start to get the money and the cash flow growing, so that way they can start making money. For example, I announce this game, you get excited about it, you pre-order it, you may go buy some new t-shirts, you may go buy some, you know, some DLC for our previous game, right? The idea is to dwell up hype, so that way you get excited and participate or buy or interact with this new thing that I'm putting out, right? And so for most other companies and most other games, right, they have to show you a lot, so that way you can get excited about it, so that way you'd be willing to spend your money on it. Now let's look at GTA 6. Now, for some reason, and I think it has to do with how big, well, GTA 5 when it came out was already big, but especially now that, you know, GTA 5 RP has gotten really big, and online is such a big part of the PC, especially on PC. It's a huge part of the PC player base of people who are playing GTA Online and GTA RP servers. Because of that, because it's gotten so popular, people have been so excited and continually talking and insinuating about the fact that they're really stoked for GTA 6. They want it really bad. And so because of that, it feels like once every few weeks or every few days, there's another person making another video kind of dwelling and talking about GTA 6 to get people excited about it again. And so since you are talking about a game that, you know, when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about trying to sell a game, right? So when the hype cycle continually gets perpetuated because of the player base, right? I don't have to do as much hard work reiterating and reposting trailers and making trailers if you're already excited. And the nail in the coffin for why they really didn't have to show us all that much is really when they did the pre-order announcement and the box art reveal. That pretty much showed Rockstar that they could literally show you nothing for the next 3 months, and it wouldn't matter, and you would still pay whatever game they release, right? They've had, we don't know numbers yet because they haven't told us any numbers yet, but I take it you're probably talking, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not you're in the millions now, of people who have pre-ordered this game. A game, by the way, which is only in a digital format, right? If you go and buy this game with a physical box, it is just a code in the box. It is not a physical disc. So you are pre-ordering a digital game that will be there when the game comes out, by the way. Just want to put that out there. I don't get pre-ordering for digital things, but that's a whole nother conversation I could talk about. But when you're talking about that many people who pre-ordered this game off of 2 trailers and a box art reveal, that's a huge deal, right? When there's so much hype for your game that you haven't even shown off a lot of your game. And need I remind you, we have not seen real gameplay of this game yet. We don't know what the average gameplay cycle is going to look like for this video game. We also don't have any extra clue about what this story is going to entail outside of that initial blurb about Jason and Lucia having to get themselves out of trouble because they got into some crime trouble after a really bad score, whatever, right? That is all we know about this game. We know nothing else. And the other thing we know is that some of the things are blocked behind a paywall. But outside of that, there's literally nothing else we know about this game. Yet, we know nothing, and this game has sold so much money on pre-orders, right? So, if I'm an exec sitting at, Take-Two/Rockstar, if I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this, right? Why on earth would we spend millions of dollars on promotional stuff and trailers and gameplay reveals and shipping these games out to things like Summer Games Fest and Gamescom? And why would I, or Comic-Con, why would I take any of my games to this stuff? And why would I spend the money in that if I have made millions of sales for a game that hasn't come out yet? And the players don't even know what it looks like. If I was an exec, I would be sitting pretty. I wouldn't have to think about a thing. I would legit just be sitting around like, all right, well, we'll just wait till November, I guess. Especially when you're talking about a pre-order cycle that people who make other games won't even make that many sales in its whole lifespan of a video game. Let alone off of just pre-orders, you're talking about probably millions of pre-orders. That's why. And this isn't really an attack, but it's more so a realization and just admitting it for what it is, right? Because you have gone and been overexcited for this and overextended, you have given them kind of free reign and the comfort to say, well, we'll do it when we want to, right? They'll put out whatever they want to whenever they want to, right? It's in the same vein that Bethesda was in years ago when Fallout 4 just came out, and they had just announced the Elder Scrolls 6. That initial trailer dropped, right? We had saw this moment where Bethesda was just like, you know what? Whenever we feel like it, we'll give you information. But other than that, we don't care. And so moving forward, right? I think that we as a player base need to be a little more careful about, getting overexcited for things and overextending, because I think that this is just a poor marketing scheme from Rockstar, right? And this is coming from a guy who I am not like intrinsically excited about GTA 6, but I know that I don't want to buy it because I have not seen any of this game. There is no guarantee that this game runs well, right? And that's part of it too. There's still a little bit of a bad omen that I'm feeling from a game this close to release that we haven't seen gameplay of, because it's making me think that this game does not run as well as people are hoping it will, right? This might, there were talks, and Digital Foundry even talked about it once on one of their podcasts, that this game may run at 30 frames per second. This game may not have a high frame rate, and people may flip out about that. But it's the fact that we haven't seen anything. And that's a major concern, because I feel like we're too close to a game release for us not to see anything. And I'm not cutting slack for Ocarina of Time either, right? Ocarina of Time is in the same boat. It was announced, and we still haven't seen the game's supposed to come out in November, or at least it seems like it's supposed to come out in November as well, but we've seen nothing of that game either, right? Both of them are both in this hot water where you're trying to release a game in 3 months, and we have not seen what this game looks like to play. Hopefully the game is good, but I don't know. There's something that's kind of irking me that's making me think that this launch isn't going to be as buttery smooth as everyone's hoping it is. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's just that I just have a bad feeling because we're just not getting any information. But what do you guys think about this whole GTA marketing scheme? Do you think that Rockstar is perfectly fine for their marketing scheme right now, or do you think that they could have done significantly better pushing into this release of GTA 6? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and of course, we'll catch you guys on the next one.